I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psychacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is relationships and the concept of the game. This is another continuation of my episodes entitled Life in the Concept of the Game and the Fundamental Game of Human Relationships. So if you're new to the channel, you might want to start there. Look, if anything with a goal and a set of rules is a game, then relationships are a game. Why? Because when you enter into a relationship with another human being, you want something. That is your goal. It could be sex, or money, or friendship, or connection, or competition, or a loving, committed relationship, or just a companion to pass the time. I'm not here to judge. But in every case, you're going to another person because you want something from that person. And whether you like it or not, there is a set of rules associated with how to attain that desired thing. For instance, it would not be possible to win the game of a loving, secure family if you were, say, an active abusive alcoholic. If you sow chaos and destruction, you cannot create stable, loving bonds with others by definition. It's just not physically, or should we say psychologically, possible. And if you can't act however you want to get whatever you want, then there must be rules to getting what you want, whether you like it or not. So relationships are games because they are goals plus rules. Now, when I talk about the game of relationships or the game of attraction, the most common piece of negative feedback I generally receive is something like, "Oh God, I'm so tired of game playing. I'm just sick of it. It's so immature. It's like, grow up. It's a waste of my time. I don't play games, and I don't spend time with other people who play games. Just be honest and straight up. What's so hard about that?" Okay, fair enough. But my point is that relationships are inescapably games. Because they are goals plus rules, they can't not be games. And this approach to relationships of being forthright and sincere and direct and authentic is a strategy in the game of relationships. It's one way that people have developed to get what they want from other people. It's kind of like, certain car dealerships that make a big point of advertising that they don't do negotiation. People are nervous about negotiating the price of a car, so we don't do that. We just put our best offer on the sticker, and what you see is what you get. No stress, no pressure, just straight talk and fair dealing. And that is a strategy to attract customers to buy cars. And it must work, at least some of the time. Otherwise, that strategy wouldn't exist, as those dealerships would quickly go out of business. Now, to say that car dealers are sincere, honest, and authentic would be a little disingenuous. They've adopted that strategy for a reason. And we can see that it is a strategy because we can imagine these dealers consciously choosing to do this. The issue is that in the game of relationships, most people don't experience their sincerity, their authenticity, their honesty as a strategy, because they don't think of these things as something they've consciously chosen to do in order to achieve a goal. But if it's the case that we're playing games, whether we're aware of them or not, then the things we do to obtain our goals don't always have to be conscious strategies. Think about it. Most of the things that we do, we don't really know why we do them. But if we were to examine that behavior objectively, we would generally discover that we do them because they've been reinforced in some way in the past, and we believe they would be effective in the present. But this belief and this reinforcement, more often than not, occurs below the threshold of awareness. Our choices are not always conscious, but they are our choices. So what's the takeaway? My point here is that being honest and direct in relationships doesn't mean you're not playing games. It means that you believe that being honest and direct is your best bet of getting what you want, which means that you're playing games as much as the dishonest and indirect person is. These are just two different ways of going about getting what you want from other people. And in general, honesty and directness can be very good strategies in the game of human relationship, though other strategies have their place in the game of please no as well. And if you want to learn more about those strategies, check out my episode on the fundamental game of human relationships. It all comes down to what you want. And I'm not here to judge or moralize and say this is good and people should do this, and this is bad and people shouldn't do that. I'm here to tell you how it is and help you understand why people do the things that they do. And one final word of advice. Be cautious with anyone who insists a little too loudly that they don't play games. The lady often doth protest too much. What do you think? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation, you can reach me at psychackspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.